Hello and welcome to today's video. Today I'm in the township of Whitianga in the Coromandel Peninsula. It's evening, it's raining, so I'm doing my video indoors. Just the Coromandel Peninsula again, well known for its gold mining, historically in particular. Certainly of recent times, from an environmental perspective, there's been literally no new mines permitted for quite some time. It's pristine nature in this part of the country and very popular with tourists. Today I am going to talk about the subject of colours, and just to start with, I've dressed myself totally in white, the colour of white, so I do have white trousers on as well. And then I've got my rainbow coloured buff, so multicoloured there, the 7 colours of the chakra. And just above my shoulder here, I've got a dream catcher, which is in the colours of the rainbow. So yeah, multicoloured. Also mentioned that I have lights in my interior here in my motorhome, which when I turn them on at night, they are the colour of the rainbow as well. So yeah, I've surrounded myself with colours effectively for quite some time now, but historically that was never the case. And I'll just talk about one memory in terms of when colours were mentioned to me as an important part. I've talked about in my life, probably in my mid-20s, starting to read a lot of books to do with alternative information, New Age, esoteric matters. And there was one book in particular which I've mentioned before in one of my videos. It's called Bring Out the Magic of Your Mind, and it was by a gentleman by the name of G.U.R.U. That was his stage name. He was effectively a magician, a mentalist. I think he was in the 1950s in Britain, and quite famous at the time apparently. But he wrote this book, Bring Out the Magic of Your Mind. And I would highly recommend that for anyone if they're sort of starting out on the journey. It's got it covers a lot of different topics, and yeah, it's very plain English, so to speak. But at the time, I remember he had a chapter on colours and the importance of colours. And while that kind of semi-registered in that whole reading and knowledge sense, it was never something that I adopted. But I have a very good understanding now, this is again talking from my perspective, what colours have done for me once I've finally fully encompassed them in my life. And now, in particular, the colours of the rainbow and the white light. So anyone who's read any of my writings or just my main writing in my website, viviendelamahianz.com, they'll know that I had very insightful experience with the white light, or in fact more than once. But in particular, a major experience in July 2025, where I, as a part of a retreat, 1-week retreat in the Amazon, I undertook a ceremony, Bufo Alvarius, which is the Sapo, which is the strongest known psychedelic, really, from the dimethyltryptamine. And yeah, I saw a vision which encompassed not only the colours of the rainbow, but the brightest white light illuminated, which in my writings and in my other videos, if anyone wanted to check them out, I've labelled as first level heaven. And I call it first level because yeah, the feeling and the emotion that I got there and the insights that I got there was that heaven is absolutely multi-dimensional. It's beyond comprehension. And therefore I got an insight into heaven, and I got an insight into the brightest white light, which I believe to be the source, the eternal source. It's where everything emanates from. So just getting on to the colours, and I was just thinking about this just an hour or so ago about the colours. And colours of the rainbow, which start red, orange and yellow, and they relate to the 3 lowest chakras, so the lowest vibrational chakras. So the root chakra is red, the orange is the sacral chakra, and then the yellow is the solar plexus. And those were 3 colours that for the vast majority of my life I really had no affinity with. not a colour that I would wear in terms of clothing or anything really. So that kind of ties into thinking about the chakras. Now the chakras, in terms of those three, the lower ones, the root, the sacral, and the solar plexus, that invariably tends to be where blockages are within the being that need to be cleared in order to move the, well, it's known as the Kundalini energy, but move the energy to higher vibrations to the heart chakra and to the three chakras above, the throat, the third eye, and the crown. And the reason one wants to move those energy levels up to a higher vibration is because once you get the higher chakras open and balanced and activated, those are the ones that give you the greater insight into the higher realms. Now, for a lot of people, this might sound, okay, well, that's all kind of mysterious and sounds good in theory, but doesn't happen in practice. And I was certainly one of those people. So in my life, read a lot about chakras, read a lot about things and higher vibrations and higher realms. And it was only when I experienced everything, so it's a multitude of things. There has been some one-off big events for sure, but it's been a culmination, of just so many things in my life that have led me now to totally, I guess, encompassing or surrounding myself by what I talk about. It's just in my being. So it's sort of being the person that I talk about, rather than just kind of perhaps knowing that it's a possibility. So getting back to those red, orange, and yellow colours, you had no affinity with them, and I think I know why now. It's because my chakras were not working correctly. That's where all my pain, darkness, everything laid in there. And when I was experiencing my first ayahuasca ceremony in July of 2025, which is a ceremony where one will purge, you will purge your darkness. I won't go much more into that, but you will get rid of the stuff inside of you. Ayahuasca will go down, it'll grab it, and it will get rid of it. And my first two purges, in fact, there was only two purges on the first evening. When I purged, the purge appeared to me, so we're talking from a visual perspective, even though from an outsider's perspective it would not have looked like this, but for me it looked like a bunch of rows and rows of tin foil, so sort of like the tin foil you might associate with being on a Christmas tree, something similar to that, coming out in a bunch, and the colours of those were red, orange, and yellow. So I was getting rid of the things that were jamming up my red, orange, and yellow chakras, which is the root, the sacral, and the solar plexus. It was clear as day now on reflection. Taking that a step further, when I experienced the Bufo experience, which was the ceremony I had, the one-off ceremony, and the visual that I had in that included the mandala flower, which was rows and rows of petals. I've put a AI sort of created visual of that on my Instagram as to what it was, and it was illuminated by the white light. And the colours on that were the red, these are the petals from the inside out, the rows of petals went red, orange, yellow, and then the outside was green. So again, from a symbolism point of view, symbols were there staring me straight in the face. It was saying to me that beyond that, getting beyond those chakras and beyond the green of the heart, outside of that laid the other chakras or the other colours. And in that visual, as I've described it and as I've had AI develop it, there were clouds, and in those clouds were the blue, indigo, and violet. So clearly the message for me at that time was get beyond your heart and beyond your heart is this multi-dimensional heaven. So getting back to sort of the colours again, the red, orange and yellow, not something that I would ever have dressed myself in, but of the recent times, these are clothes that I have in my selection to wear. So I've been drawn to those, and I understand that having them upon me, upon my being, is symbolic, and is also, it's beyond symbolic. It actually activates in me the energy of those chakras. So for example, if I wake up in the morning and I have a feeling that I want to wear something with red and orange in it, I've got a red and orange shirt, yeah, that's kind of what I'll go for. That's that inner knowing that it's time for you to just remember to be rooted to the ground. You know, you've got to be rooted to have these energy flows going. And the orange is the creativity, the magic. We're yellow as well, so yellow for strength of the solar plexus. So those kind of things are so important to me now, having those colours around me and wearing them in balance. So it's not like you'd wear one colour all the time, because that's not balance. It's the need to understand that having the vibrational energy and frequency of these colours is what brings the balance. And it's when I manage to clear and activate and bring the energy up through those chakras, up through the heart, that everything has really gone to the higher levels. And I speak about that a lot. So then we go to green of the heart, and the heart, almost the most important, I guess, in my perspective, or from my perspective, of the chakras that are in the being. And green, again, historically was never a colour that I really had much affinity to. Green of the heart, never really registered deep down in my being. But now I have to understand that the green is so important. So if I need to, lead with my heart, or we need to live through our heart. But if I need more energy of the heart, or stimulation of the heart, something green. And even seeing the colour green. So seeing the colour green in my buff, or seeing the colour green in this dream catcher. Having that around me, it's all a reminder to my being, my whole holistic spiritual being, of the importance of these colours. Now, interestingly, in a way, I've spoken about this briefly before, but blue has always been my favourite colour, which blue of the throat chakra. And that is something that I deem to be my strength. And I was even thinking of blue in my clothing. I always went for something blue. So I always had a propensity for concentrating on perhaps the throat chakra, or trying to stimulate it, which I now think that I have to a fair degree, but there's always work to do. And then the indigo of the third eye, and the violet purple of the crown chakra. And as I've spoken about quite a lot before, I've managed to activate my third eye, so when I do my meditations, the indigo blue is very prominent. And the purple violet is something that always reminds me of the crown and the universe, and the need to continue to remember that we are part of the universe, or that I am tuned into the universe. It's almost like I don't have to remember it. It's just there as a automatic prompt for me. It's me wanting to be part of the universe. So those are the rainbow colours, and then leading into all white. So when you think about what one might see when they see someone wearing all white, there's that purity and a divine being. So I dare say, if someone looked at me today, there's no one here at the moment, but I'm wearing all white, they would get this vibe of something. And it may well be the divinity. And the fact of the matter is, yes, I'm a projection of the divinity, and I keep saying that I'm a projection of the white light. I'm a conduit for the universal white light and the energy. And I was tying that into the colour black and grey. So black is kind of associated with the darkness of life, and I talked a lot about the darkness which I had in my life, the depression and just the bad, dark times, the lowest of times. But as I've talked about before, of course, it's all part of the polarity. So dark and light are not two separate things. They're all on the same line. And it's just a matter of moving from the dark towards the light, or getting rid of your darkness and moving towards the things that bring you light. So in terms of colours, I effectively surround myself with the colours of the rainbow. I wear them proudly. I would say that historically I would never have imagined wearing the colours of the rainbow proudly. It was something associated with, in particular, the sort of the gay community in New Zealand. But that's not a problem because we're all one, and I just have no bias or anything in my life anymore. Whereas previously, when I was brought up, I mean, my conditioning as a child from my parents' perspective and things like that, those things were kind of seen as bad. But they're not bad. They're just everyone living their journey. So I'm living my journey. I'm living my journey surrounded by colours. I see colour in everything. I see the clarity of colour. I've talked about that quite a lot. So a lot more clarity of the colour than I would have previously. And it catches my eye. And when I say it catches my eye, it has a physiological effect upon me. I've no doubt about it. I mean, it really goes without saying. I mean, it's the vibration of the colours, the frequency of each of the chakras, the frequency that I talk about of the higher chakras, the colours, and the need to bring your energies up. So I can only recommend people that if they're looking at a spiritual journey or trying to get on a spiritual journey, if they are inclined to do so, that really put some emphasis on what colour means. It took me a long time to really get it, but I've got it now, and I wouldn't be without it. Anyway, I hope that that video has brought some light and some colour to your day. As always, I'll carry on my journey and make some more videos. In the meantime, I ask that you enjoy the journey, and we will meet when we should. And namaste.